Welcome back to The Big Picture and our special presentation highlighting the Disney musical Frozen on stage at Sheas. Let's meet some of the cast members of the production, starting with Caroline Bowman, who plays Elsa.
What is it like to sing the signature song?
It's a gift, it's an honor, and you know, I never realized what this song meant to people, what an anthem it was for people, until I got this role. And I would meet people at the stage door and they would be in tears just saying what this song meant to them in their life, how it got, what it meant for them in their journey. And I think about that every time I sing it. I kind of dedicate the song to somebody new every night, and then I'm doing it for somebody else, and then it kind of takes the pressure off of what the song, you know, the expectation that everybody has for the song. I kind of have to let that go, because then I can't have fun with it. There's a part of my heart was really missing this last year and a half, and so to be back, I really haven't taken any moment for granted. I feel like I'm really living in the present and going moment by moment and not taking any second for granted. Yesterday we had the orchestra for the first time and I nearly wept through the whole rehearsal, just feeling every single element added slowly and coming back after this time. I knew how much I loved doing this, and then it was taken away from us so abruptly, and it only fueled that fire even more. You come to the show knowing and loving Frozen because you've seen the movie, and then you get so much more. I mean, it's just...
And new songs that were not...
Yes, oh yes, 12 new songs, and then we added this really special duet in Act 2 that Caroline and I actually got to originate in rehearsals the first time around. And it's just a really special moment for Anna and Elsa to connect, which we don't really get in the movie. We don't get to see how much they yearn to have a relationship with each other, but they just can't, and they're coming from different sides, and how their relationship is just so important to them. And that means so much to sisters, to siblings, to friends, I mean, it's just like, it hits so many people, so much more than kids. I mean, like, kids come and love Frozen, but then the adults that come really get to experience the depth and their own journeys, and it's a really special show. I saw the movie, and I actually called my manager, and I was like, I really want to play Elsa. And I remember calling her when I was playing Evita. I remember I was on the tour, the national tour of Evita, and I called her, and I was like, I think that's a role for me. And that was before I played Elphaba, which is also along the same lines. They're very different and very similar in a lot of ways, those characters. So yeah, I love Idina Menzel, love her, and I've been on a similar trajectory, which, that doesn't suck. Her career is pretty amazing.
Does anybody follow that? You picked a good one.
Right. I mean, I think she's amazing, and so far I've played a couple roles that she's played, and her voice has been the soundtrack of my childhood and musical theater childhood. So I'll stick to the Idina Menzel track for a little while.
Next, meet Caroline's real-life husband, Austin Colby, who plays Hans.
What is that like to be the husband of Elsa?
Oh my goodness, she might be an ice queen, but she's pretty wonderful. I love her very much, and to be able to work with your wife is the best. I mean, watching somebody you love do what they love every night and watch audiences adore her is just amazing. Yeah. That, in addition to the whole rehearsal process, where the company is just looking to her for that extra energy and inspiration, and she just does it so gracefully. She's such a wonderful leader, and I'm proud to follow her.
Wow. So how did that connection all happen?
Like how we met? We met through mutual friends, and she came and saw a show in Maryland, where she's from, and I was working the DC theater scene at the time, and I was doing a show, and I noticed her in the audience and knew she was a friend of one of my friends in the cast, and I encouraged him to have people over, knowing that if you tell this guy, Nick, to have a party, he's going to take full ownership of it. So it wasn't like it was my idea at all, and now it's his idea.
Of course.
He invites her there, and we hang out. There was a bonfire, and it was 4 o'clock in the morning when we realized what time it was, and we had to go home, and she hasn't gotten rid of me since. So,
Well, good for you.
Yeah,
Well,
lucky guy.
Tell us about your character in the show.
Sure. I play Prince Hans of the Southern Isles, and he's, a happy-go-lucky guy, and is attracted to Anna, and then later it kind of figures out he might be attracted to greater things, but of course there are some consequences to his decisions.
Have you ever been to Buffalo before?
I have. I was on the tour of The Sound of Music. I played Rolf, and this theater is just gorgeous, and one I so look forward to performing in. When we found out that we were coming back to reopen the show at the Sheas, I just thought, what better space to do it in? Like Elsa, she's in isolation because of the fear of hurting her family and others. We've been in isolation, and each person is different in how they've been affected by this pandemic. There's nothing like live theater and the connection that you get to experience together. And what's so great about it is it's a one-time thing, and then it just kind of evaporates. And we're all in the room together, and we're all enjoying it. We get the chance to share a story about coming together, community, love, and to share that and have it received. It's electrifying, and it's something that we've been craving. And also, I can't wait for my next opportunity to be in the audience as well, because it's such a gift to receive live performance.
Meet Caroline Innerbickler, who plays Anna.
Well, I can go all the way back to the first time I saw it in theaters. And when I went to go see the movie, I was with a bunch of other castmates of another show that I was in, and it was like in between our two performances, and we're like, oh, there's a movie theater nearby, let's go see that new Disney movie, Frozen. And we all went, and for that show that I was in, I had 2 red braids and red bangs there. And I walk in, and we sit down, and all of a sudden we get to know the character Anna, and I was like, oh, that's me. That's definitely, I related to her so much. And all of my friends were like, that's you. And I was like, yeah, that would be fun. I hope they make a musical out of it. I had, I think, 14 callbacks total for this production. I originally went to just an open call in Chicago. And it was one of those things where I just showed up and was like, do you have any time for me? And so I came in and just sang, and then from then on, just callback after callback and everything. But I got the news when I was in New York City for another production that I was doing there. And I'll never forget just standing in the middle of 8th Avenue and getting the news on the phone and just bursting into tears. It was such like a New York City moment of, I was like, the world is still rushing around me, but this is like such a special moment.
So how did you become connected to musical theater and performing arts?
Yeah, there was a community theater that was at the high school in the city where I grew up, Egan Community Theater, and I had always loved going to see shows with my family. My parents always took me and my older sister to go and see musicals, whether it be at the high school or touring through town. So, like, I'm hoping I get to see some kids with their families that are getting excited about theater too, because that's totally how I got into this. But there was a production of Annie that they were having auditions for, and they posted a little sign at the elementary school because they wanted a bunch of the orphans to be cast from our community. So I just showed up and did my first audition and got into the orphan chorus, and from then on it was just there was nothing else I wanted to do.
Your family was important, influencing you to engage with theater, and there will be families here with young people who might be on the very same path.
I hope so. Those are some of my favorite memories of growing up, are going to the theater with my family. We got all dressed up in our nice dresses. Of course, my parents put us in like matching dresses and little matching shoes and the white tights and everything. And it was just like such a special moment of coming in and seeing how beautiful the theater was, and then the lights go down and it's this special, I don't know, sacred type of experience. Yeah.
And I have to ask, your parents must be very proud of all of your accomplishments.
Yeah, they're really, really supportive. And it's great because I have a niece and a nephew now, and you know, they're 5 and 2, and they love the movie Frozen, and I think we're gonna try to get my nephew, who is 5, in to see the show. I think he's old enough now to like understand what's going on. So we're gonna try to get him to see the show in Minneapolis, and I can't wait.
Good luck on tour. Where do you go from Buffalo then?
From Buffalo, we go right to Minneapolis, which is where I'm from, which is so exciting. I can't wait to have like my 2 worlds sort of mashed together at that point. It's gonna be really special to bring it home.
Mason Reeves plays Kristoff.
I went to school at the University of Michigan for musical theater, and I actually left school early to come doing this job. It was after my junior year. They reached out to me, and I sent in an audition. They flew me to New York. I auditioned for a whole day, and then the next day they called me and I had the part, and so I went and finished school online, and now I'm here. It's kind of crazy. Well, my mom, when I was growing up, ran a youth theater. And so when I was growing up, I played a lot of soccer. And so I was like, big sports guy. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. But she always needed boys, of course, because it's youth theater. And so she would force me to do the shows. And I'd be like, all right, I'll do the show if I can rehearse, once this week, because I got to go to soccer practice. And slowly it just caught up with me. And, I saw people like Joshua Henry's a great influence, and Leslie Odom Jr., who's in Hamilton, and all these great performers that just kind of drew this like passion out of me and showed me that it was something that I wanted to do, and that I thought it would be a perfect career choice for me.
What's about your character, Kristoff?
Yeah, so Kristoff is he's a reindeer man. So his best friend is a reindeer. He was abandoned by his parents when he was a kid and was raised by these they're called the hidden folk in the show, and you'll see them, they dance, but so he grew up with this like sort of surrogate family and never really had a lot of friends that were like him, not a lot of people that he could relate to. And so the course of the show is the first time that he's really interacting with somebody that he can connect with Anna, and he sees her, and she sort of cracks him out of this shell that he's had of being kind of antisocial and being kind of, all on his own. He always sticks up for himself, always handles stuff on his own, and this is the first time that he gets to care about somebody more than he's really had to care about himself and somebody else. And it's really beautiful to watch that and watch him try to figure out what those feelings mean over the course of the show. The idea of caring so much about others and caring enough to put yourself out there and to try to fight for what you think is right is something that I am very much attached to, and very much something that I'm trying to grow in my own life, how to be passionate about my friends and support them in a way that they want. And I think this show is so beautiful and shows that love and that joy is contagious and is something that we all can need and all can benefit from, and just brighten a life that can sometimes seem sort of hard and sad and lonely,
F. Michael Haney is Olaf.
Olaf is so many things, and he really is at his base a little bit of Anna and a little bit of Elsa. And so that during the show, I get to be a little bit of Caroline Innerbickler and a little bit of Caroline Bowman. One, how fortunate to be part of those 2 incredible human beings, incredible artists, incredible actors. And so Olaf gets to reflect what the audience gets to feel. The audience has actually been at the show longer than Olaf has. Olaf is born about 55 minutes into the show, and he gets to experience the world. So the world gets to meet people through Olaf, gets to see people through Olaf, gets to feel every emotion of the show through Olaf. And Michael Curry designed this incredible puppet that I get to operate during the show. But it's a bit of a dealer's choice. You can choose to watch me, who is back here in a beautiful costume, very warm, and then there's an incredible puppet in front of me. And you get to choose what you want to watch. Sometimes the kids will come to me and say, like, who are you? Who did you play? And I was like, Olaf. And they go, no, you didn't. I saw Olaf. It was Olaf. And then there'll be adults who say, I'm so sorry I didn't watch you, I watched the puppet the whole time. And then other people are like, I just couldn't stop watching you. And I go, what a beautiful torture I've put you through. And it's all thanks to Lorenzo Pizzoni. He's an incredible artist who helped me learn everything I know how to do with the puppet. And I think that Olaf gets to operate at such a primordial level in this show, that everything is raw emotion. Love costs something. And I think we've all learned that over the last 18 months. I think we've learned that over our lives. But that love is not free. Love is something that it takes commitment and it takes sacrifice. And I think that is what Olaf gets to represent. He gets to represent that love is beautiful and love is incredible, but love is also hard work. Love is also patience and kindness and empathy and sympathy. And I think getting to operate Olaf amongst this company gets to feel like I'm almost Olaf's parent.
Robert Creighton plays Wesselton with a Western New York connection.
Is this your first time in Buffalo?
It's funny that that's your first question you're asking me. I grew up in Canada, about 2.5 hours north of here, and went to school in New York City and have stayed there and been lucky to work there as an actor for over 2 decades. 8 Broadway shows, I've been very busy there. I was in Frozen in New York, originated the role of the Duke of Wesselton on the Broadway production, and then when it all shut down, my wife, who is an Amherst grad, and her whole family is here. We were going to move to California. That became a bad idea. She said, let's move to Buffalo. And about a day later, that decision was made, and we've been here. I've been living here since last September. And then, having put Frozen in the rearview mirror because it's not coming back to Broadway, my agent called one night. We were having dinner and talking about Frozen. Oddly, my daughter had asked me, Daddy, are you retired from Broadway and TV? And I said, no, sweetheart, no one's doing it right now. It's what I love to do. I'll do it again. My agent called and said, Disney called. Would you do the first 3 cities of the tour? The actor playing your role, his wife's having a baby. So I was like, are you serious? And he said, yep, they don't know you live in Buffalo, but first they're going to rehearse and play Sheas, and I already knew what a glorious place this was. My wife's best friend, her dad, Tony Conti, used to run this place, and so I've had a tour of literally the bowels of this theater from him, but never seen a show here and never played here. And then got a call from my agent, and of course it was just a meant-to-be thing. So I get to put closure and a cap on that. Really, it's been 4 years since I've been involved with Frozen. Did the workshops in New York, out of town in Denver, and then opened it on Broadway. So I can't believe this is happening.
Tell us about your character. Who is the...
Yeah, so the Duke of Wesselton, not Weaseltown.
No, not Weaseltown, Wesselton.
Yes, he's come, he's been shut out of the kingdom. He did business with Anna and Elsa's parents. They went away, and he's been shut out of that kingdom for a decade, and he's come on the coronation to see, what's going on with Anna and Elsa. And he also, in my telling of the story, the Duke has come to sort of woo the Queen and rise above his station in Arendelle, gets shut down, and then becomes the sort of leader of trying to get Elsa. It's really fun for me to be here and know that my wife's family will all come and see it. Her friends that she grew up with and their kids, who are now my kids' friends, are all coming to see it. What's cracking me up is I assistant coached my son's hockey team this winter in Amherst, and no one there knows what I do for a living. And so I'm sure there's going to be parents and kids in the audience going, hey, isn't that Coach Bobby? Hey, that Wesselton guy looks a lot like our hockey coach. What's happening here?
Thanks, John, for catching up with the cast. I got to see the production, and I give it a 5-star review. But let's find out what the audience thought.
I loved it.
Great. What did you think, Mom?
It was fantastic. Absolutely wonderful.
Great. What did you think of the show?
It was great. Very good.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Awesome.
What did you think of the show?
I think it was really good.
There's still time to get tickets for Frozen. It's on stage until September 24th at Sheas. Go to sheas.org for more information. Thanks for watching our special presentation, and thanks for watching WBBZ-TV.